Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a nice weekend. I had a nice long weekend. It was pretty good. I went to a wedding, my first Spanish wedding. Yeah, it was very entertaining, very different from English weddings. Anyway, right, what are we doing today apart from adding links to the video description? Done. Next, we're basically trying to create a cross-platform GUI test case for productivity style applications. And we've been trying that in a few different GUI frameworks. We started to use Cushy, got blocked, then went on to Iced. Iced is alright, but the experience just... I'm not sold on it. So I thought, let's revisit Cushy again and see if we can work around the problem that we had with not having a context system. And the author gave me some feedback and said, yes, the approach that you're taking seems reasonable, so we are going to continue with this. So where are we at the moment? Let's switch over to the ID and so on. So we've got this little window here, and currently we can close all the tabs, create a home tab. When we click it again, it doesn't display another one. And we've got this show on startup thing, and if we close the application and reopen the application, it doesn't show the home tab, and then we can do it again and the other way around so that it does show it on startup, and so that works, which is good. It's updating the config's being saved, the state is loading on startup, and so on. And on Thursday, last stream, we were trying to get the open button to work and the application to open the list of documents in the config file on startup. And we made some progress on that. So I don't remember where we got to. It was like 4 days ago. So let's dive back into it and find out where we were in the code. So the open button has got an open document sort of like on click callback. Right, and it's going open document, and it's passing the documents, the tab bar, and the path to it. Fine. And then when the application starts up, what does it do? It goes for every open document, call open document with the same three things. Okay, so it looks like we need to make the open document thing actually do something. Yeah, so the application is going to have multiple tabs. Multiple different types of tabs, the home tab being one, a new tab being another, where you create a form, and then that changes into one of the other types of tabs. And then it's going to have a document tab, and the document tabs are supposed to be able to display text documents and image documents, and also have a little sidebar with some information on it, and so on. So in order to do that, we need the concept of documents, which I think we added. Yeah, we've got the concept of a document. And we've got a text document, which all it has currently is a path. I'm trying to remember whether we used this anywhere yet. Yes, we created a list of documents in the application state, and that's what we passed over to the open document method. Fine. So basically we need to create a document, add it to this list of documents, then create a tab of a document tab kind, and then add it to the tab bar. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, so in our other examples that we had, Iced being the most recent one, which we'll have a quick look at now, we do a similar thing where we go open document. And this basically looks at the file extension and makes a tab that gives you a tab key back and some other stuff. And let me okay, do we want to reuse any of this? No, because it's all to do with messages and stuff. No, let's have a look. I'll borrow this though, and this bit. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to borrow that, which is basically getting the absolute path from the path. And currently this doesn't return any kind of error. But let's make it return the same kind of thing that the iced one was returning. Which is basically going to be the same kind of thing as this. Yeah, so we'll borrow that. I'll just paste that here so that you can read it if you want to. It's not particularly exciting. And to use this error trait, we're using in the iced example this error to do error handling. So we need to add that to the list of dependencies as well. Everything's fine. Oops, switch back to the file. Right. That should be okay in a moment when it rebuilds it. Come on. There we go. There we can import it now. There we go. So we can return an error, which means our little question mark operator might work when we add the return type. Which is going to be similar to this, but not exactly the same as this. We don't know what we actually want to return yet, but we either return nothing or an open document error for now. So we're going to do that for now. Right, so we've got our file extension. We need to know what kind of document to create based on the file extension. And the way we did that in the iced one was to look at our constants, which for now I'm just going to pop in just here. So we've got a list of constants of file extensions that we want to support. So we're going to do the same thing as that. So we're just going to copy and paste some existing code here. So if it's one of those, then we do the image, we do a text document. If it's one of these ones, oh dear, contains the extension, then we do this. Otherwise, we do the error case. And I suppose for now, we do that in both of them. To do support images. Okay, so we're going to do the text document case here. So we go, I don't know, let document is text document with a, wait a second. Oh, it's got an import for that. Hold on, let me fix that. Go away. And then we want a path for this, don't we? Let's say from path again, like we did before, and then give it the path. This one. So we can implement this. Sure, there we go. So we can create a text document. We've got a text document. So now we can add it to the list of documents. What we insert, push. Oh no, this is one of these dynamic things. So what do we do with this? We have to go documents.lock. What? Insert? Yeah. And then we've got the document like this, I suppose. And then we get a key when we do that. Right? So now we've got this key. We can give this key to this document thing here, probably. So we've got documents and we've got document tabs, and these things are going to be different. So this is living in here. Let's try doing this and see what happens. So let's create a mod for document tab. Document rather. And then what? Pub struct one of these, I suppose. And then we'll let this have a key of a document. Something like that, perhaps. Why is it confused? We've got. Why is it confused about this? Okay. And we need to move this method and this stuff and this stuff into the implementation of document tab, basically, is what we're trying to get to. Okay, now it's caught up now, right? Okay, so that's interesting. Why do we need hash and partial EQ on the tab kind? Let's take them off for a moment. Whoops. Not like that though. I don't remember why we needed that. This needs to be clonable. So we got that there, and we derive. Which one is it? This one. Derive. What did I say? Clone. Okay, so we've got that. Let's just compile this for a moment, see what happens. Right, yeah, we've got a tab here. And at some point we're going to delegate that to it. Tab bar lock make widget. Right, so the make widget wants this because this make widget, why? Oh, is it because of our tab kind needs? Wait a second. Widgets tab bar, because our implementation of our tab bar wanted hash on the tab kind. I mean, that's fine for like an enum, isn't it? But don't really want to add that constraint to that, but isn't it just, why isn't it just the tab key that needs hash on it? Are we sure that we need this hash? Let's take the hash off here for a second, because I forget why. Do we really need it? Let me take the EQ off there as well. I think EQ is only on here because of that. This might have been before we added the tab kind. Yeah, we don't need it, I don't think. Yeah, that's better. Good. I didn't think we needed it. because we added tabs and then we added tab keys, and it's the tab keys that need the hash and the partial EQ, not the actual tab kind. Right, okay, carrying on, moving on. So we don't need to have those things on there, which is good. And then this is used here, so we definitely don't need those now, which is good. Right. Okay, let's finish this process of creating different types of tabs. And delegating to them. It doesn't have anything. Right, and then what we want to do... Come on IDE, keep up. Come on now. It's not doing it. Come on. Oh, I see. It's confused. Okay. So now we've got tab here. And I suppose here we've got a tab too. So I suppose we can go... Oh, we've got home, we've got create content. Hold on a second. Shouldn't this be in the home tab itself? I think it probably should be. I think we need to move this. Let's move this into here. Right. And take all these as well. Whoop, what happened there? Oh no, I've lost my file. Wait a second, did I press Alt Tab? Yes, I did. I'm supposed to press Control Tab, there we go. Right, try again. That's better. Okay, so we've got that, Apparently there's nothing in here anymore, so we'll delete it. So we don't need this here. Okay. Then what? So we've got this method and we were doing something with it. So now instead of doing this, we go tab.create content maybe. But we've got to make it public first. It already is public. Tab. It doesn't take self. Seems reasonable. Home tab dot create content. There we go. Context. Yes, there we go. Like that. And then we've got this label thing here. So if we go tab dot create label, and move that into that. Thus. And then remove the duplicate. There we go, right, so now we've got that. And then we do the same for this one. Could just call it label, I suppose. Right, there we go. And then we've got this one, this make widget one, right. So we've got to move this into a tab.create content with some context. That one. There we go. And take that and put it with the other one and delete that. There we go. Right. So now we've got our sort of structure of how we want all this to work. Clone is not implemented for home tab. Does it need clone? Okay, yes, it does. Let's just be lazy Isn't there an auto fix for that? Like, oops. Hold on, let me just take this off here. Oh, there is. Okay, fine. That makes my life easier. Right, and then we've got to deal with some more compile errors. And then here, I suppose we need to go, what, home, tab, new? Or default, maybe? Why is that not picking that up? No. What's the problem here? We'll derive default for it here, but home tab. Why is it confused? Tab kind home. Wants a home tab. And I'm giving it a home tab. It's not picking up the fact that it exists. Is it because the mod isn't public? Yes, it is, isn't it? These need to be public, don't they? There we go. Now we should be able to import it. There we go. Alright, good. Let's get rid of these warnings. Okay. Context never read, that's fine. Document keys never read. We're getting there though. That does not need to be mutable. Okay. Let's see if we can deal with some of this. Right, we've got this document key, and this is where we were getting to. So we've got our document, and now we can create a document tab. So let's add the tab. So for the for the home one, what did we do? We went add home tab, and we went tab bar lock, and then add tab. Fine. So let's do the same thing here, because we've got the tabs. Yeah, so we can go let tab bar guard tab bar lock. Right, and then we can go tab bar guard dot add tab with a tab kind of document with a document tab. But we need to create the document tab first. So let's do that. How do we want to do it? New, I suppose, and pass it the document key, perhaps. I don't know why it's got an import for that. What have we got here? We've got a document key, and it gives us a self. Let's just name this so we can have the simple version of it. Fine, everything's good. So we've got a document tab. We've got, yeah, okay. So this needs to what, be mutable? Okay. Does this need to be, okay, it's a dynamic, fine. So add tab, does it give us anything back? It doesn't currently give us anything back, but it probably should give us the tab key back. Let's make it do that. And let's say let tab key is this. We don't need this key currently, but we might later. Okay, well let's use it here. Tab key. Added tab with key. Added document tab with key. Key. Tab key. Fine. Everything's good there. And then does adding tab activate it? I don't remember. Let's have a look. Adding a tab does indeed activate it. So we don't need to call activate with the key. Whether it should do that or not is another matter. Right, where do we get to now? Okay, we're getting there, right. So, what happens? So when we press open with this path, because we're not actually opening the file yet, so it will succeed, we should have another tab, and we should be able to create multiple tabs, and it's displaying the key down the bottom over here, so that's good. We should be able to close them all and press home, and let's see if there's any weirdness with the ordering. So if we go open now, we get a document, and then home, and then open, and then open. Yeah, that all looks okay currently. All good. All good. Interesting. Okay. Because I don't think we're using slot map yet, are we? No, we're using slot map, but we're not using index map for the tabs, so I'm kind of curious as to why that works like that right now. I thought we were going to have the same tab ordering issues that we had with ICE when we used the slot map for tabs there. But currently we don't. Okay, what's next? Loading the document and displaying it, perhaps? Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So we've got this create content. At the moment it just has this, but no. What we want is... let me see if I can find the little drawing program. This. Here we go. Let's pick the nice, lovely green. There we go. What we want is this kind of thing where we've got information in a grid. And then we've got the actual document somewhere over here. So we need a sidebar and the content. So, right. So now we're back into the land of Cushy as opposed to just like random Rust application structure and argument passing malarkey. So, I don't remember anything about Cushy. Let's see what we're supposed to do. Does Cushy have an editor? That's the question. And I did up to the latest version of Cushy today. Looking for other examples. No. Let's look for widgets. Is there an editor? Like a multi-line text editor will do for now. Is it called input? Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a multi-line text editor, but I don't really care about that too much. We'll just use a regular input widget. Does this allow multi-lines? I don't know. Let's see if there's an input example. There is an input example. That's how you do one. Let's run it and see what it does. Come on. Only 305 dependencies to build. 305, I mean, really. That's a lot of dependencies to audit, that is. I suppose there are tools to do the auditing for you these days, so it's not too bad. But can you imagine if you had a C program with 305 dependencies on it? No. Oh dear. I've scared myself with that thought then. C program with 305 dependencies. Right, no. Multi-line. Does it do multi-line? Pressing Control Enter doesn't do anything. Let's press Enter. No. Shift Enter. No. So it's not got any multi-line stuff here. So we kind of want an editor. Do we create one editor for every line in the file? I mean, we could. Whether we should or not is another matter. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't really want to. I don't really want to create my own multi-line code editor widget right now. That's not really the focus of this example. The focus of this example is to work out how to manage the application state in a organized and sane way, as opposed to just bundling everything into a single file. Let's see what happens if we put some line breaks inside here. Nothing, because that's a continuation. Because I'm stupid. I guess we need some of these. Perhaps. You just get a forward slash. That's really not what I was expecting. Huh. Okay. Is there a into input? And you can center it. I don't know. So into input, probably it creates a new input. I'm just seeing what, trying to discover the API a little bit here. It's got move cursor. Oh, that's interesting. Place range. Has it got the cursor selected range? Yeah, I suppose that's useful. Okay, for now, let's just use a single line document, right? We'll just edit the first line of the document because there isn't a code editor. Fine. But we don't have anything yet. Great. So, right, how do we even get the data? So, this context, we need to use this context, right? In the same way that we use the context here to get the config, we need to use the context to get what? Documents. And in the same way that we put config into the context, we're going to need to do the same thing with the documents. So let's see if we can work that out. So it's this context here, right? And then this make widget here has got what? Oh, tab bar. Make widget with the tabs. Okay, so in our main application, I guess we need to add the documents to it. Right. So we do this. We've got this documents thing here, and we've got this config thing here. We've got this context, and we've got this context here. So let's pull this out and go. Let documents is this, right? And then if we do the same thing like this, then that should be okay. And then anywhere we've got a context, we've got the documents. Okay. Let's try and build it, make sure it works. Yeah, oh, that's not that one. This one. Still builds, that's good. So what that means is that we can do the same thing as this. Somewhere in here. And let's just put that in there for now. Oh yeah. You get an optional widget instance when you do that, so we just need to go unwrap on that. Right. So now we've got this. We don't need the config at the moment, but what we do need is the documents. And we don't want a dynamic document. We want a dynamic, whatever the type was for documents. So we could introduce a type for that documents thing, but I don't want to do that yet. I don't know where to put it. I don't really want to think about it, so I'm not going to. But we know what the type of this thing is. It's this. So if we go specify type explicitly, then we can copy this from here and then undo that, and then here we can specify that type explicitly. Right. So that's what we put into the context, and that's what we want to get out of the context. And for those just joining the stream, we implemented this context here. And that's basically the entire sum of the context system. So you can provide a type, and then you can run a closure with context if you give it the same type again. And if it has that type in the context, then it'll run the closure. If it doesn't, it won't. So we've got documents guard. So with this documents guard, we can go get, and then we can go self.documentKey. And now we've got our document, and we're going to unwrap that because it should be there. It wants the document keys, so okay, we can. Does document key have copy on it? Who remembers? Not me. Let's see if it compiles. It does have copy on it, so we can do that. So now we've got a document. Great. But we should be able to go. Well, we don't know what kind of document it is yet. So I don't know. What? Match on the document. And then if it's a text document, do something. suppose if we give this a name like this, then we can go what? Just delegate to it. Text document dot create content. Yeah, that makes sense. The idea being is that if we wanted to display a text document not inside a tab, we can still call create content and it will give us a widget back for a document, right? And then later we can add the image document here. So we're going to move this and we're going to pass that context here, I suppose. I guess we can just pass the document here. Is this... and this gives us it gives us the dynamic, doesn't it? Let's... Should the with content bit be in the create content? I don't know. Oh dear. Oh, this hasn't got the right name. That's supposed to be like that, right? Yeah. Do you know what? Do you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that we should pass the context to this create content instead, and then move all this closure into each thing that needs to do stuff with the context. Or should we? Because there is a get mutt here. Yeah, I don't know whether we want a mutable document, you see. Whether the mutability is why I'm hesitating here. Because when we create the widget for the text document, is it going to need some mutable reference that lasts forever, or is it just going to need a dynamic that can be cloned? I don't know. Let's find out the hard way. So we've got our text document. And now we've got a create content method on it. Oops, daisy. Yeah. Why is this? No. This is supposed to be text document here. Self. Well, we don't need to do that then, do we? That's stupid. We just need to do that. And this needs to return the same thing. It needs to return a widget instance. Right. And then I thought I had something in my clipboard. I did, but it's gone now. So we'll just go what? Text and then dot into... Well, really we want to create an input, don't we? How to create an input? Who remembers? There was an input example that we were just looking at, wasn't there? So it's got a label and then it's got contents, and the contents is a dynamic from a thing. So if the text document also had a content, which is a dynamic string, I guess. And then this probably is where we load this thing. And then if we go back to the iced example and find how we load a file, because I don't remember. Yeah, this one. Then we've got some content from a text that we read from a file from the path. So that's all good. So now we can go back to that input example, which is not that. This one. And you go contents.into input. Where's my file? This one. self.content.into input. Dot make widget. But it wants to move it. Can we clone it? As long as something owns this string, when the last dynamic disappears, then the reference counted thing disappears. It's probably all right, right? Right? I don't know. Build. Okay, let's run it. So when we press open, it's currently trying to open a file. But that file that it's trying to open probably is wrong. Yeah, file not found, which is fine, because we don't have the file here yet. So let's create a directory. No, why has it got... I must have accidentally pressed the key then. Let's drag the assets from the iced example, which were these ones, which we created ages ago. And basically we've got a file and another file and another file. So yeah, what's going to happen now then? And yes, probably we need some error handling, but not yet. Oh look, I've got an input which takes up the whole thing. It looks like it's a multi-line input, but it's not actually a multi-line input. But for today's purposes, that's probably okay. Okay, fine. So we opened a file and displayed a text box. Amazing. My work is done. All right, end of stream. Bye. No, I jest. If only things were that simple. Right. So let's go to the config. Not that config. The actual config. This one. And add that file name into here. So we've got our main method, which has got a make toolbar thing, and this has got open, and we've got this path here, right? So if we just slap this in here for now, and then run it, we'll see if it opens it on startup like it's supposed to. So now we have a home and a document on startup, which is good. And we can open it multiple times at the moment, which we don't want this behavior, but we're gonna have to deal with that at some point. So yeah, that works. Let's add the other file and run it again and see if it opens two different documents. So, that's interesting. Who saw that behaviour when I pressed the mouse here? Hold on a second. Wait a second. Look, I've got a cursor and it's on the last line of the. If I press cursor left, it doesn't do anything. If I click on it, it only shows me the first line. I'm a little bit weirded out by this control. So it seems to support multi-lines, but not. I'm going to ask real quick in the Cushy Discord, is there a multi-line input widget? Does input properly... Oh wait, is the input widget supposed to support multi-line or not? I see odd behavior with it currently. Okay, that's in the Discord. We'll wait for a reply on that. We don't care too much for this example. Right, so we've got two different documents, which is good. Let's see what happens with regards to state. So we make a selection over here, and then we switch to this one, and we make a selection over here. And then what do you think is going to happen when I click this document? Ready to find out? Yeah. It loses the state. Of course it does. And it loses the other state. So it loses a selection when you change tabs. Why? Like, what do we think it's actually doing? So let's just say, let's just do a println on here and see when this create content thing is called, and see if we can discover more about this. Creating. Okay, let's just go. We could use some instrumentation here, you know, it'd be nice, but for today we're just going to do this. And let's print the path out. Let's run that and see how frequently create content gets printed out, and if it gets printed out every time we switch tab or not. So it does indeed get called every time. So what can we do about this? So if we want to make it maintain a state, I was hoping I wouldn't have to do this, but maybe we do have to do this. Okay, let's just check the call stack as to when this gets called, right? Because I'm curious. So what does the call stack look like for this? We've got text argument create content. Before that, we were delegating to it from create content for the document tab. And then before that, we had a closure with context. And then before that, we had map. And then we've got the with context. And then we were doing create content here on the document tab still. And then before that, we were going tab kind, and then the tab widget was going when something changes, which is going to be the active tab selected. So we've got a callback for selected on the tab widget, right? This. So when this dynamic key changes, it runs this callback, and this callback makes the content, and then sets the content area. What was the content area again? Where's this come from? I forget. We've got a dynamic widget instance for that. So what I'm wondering about now is maintaining a slot map of widget instances and then hiding all the non-visible ones and then adding to them to some container and then just switching them all out instead of this. Otherwise, it's going to recreate the content every single time, which I don't think is what we really want. So this is fine for sort of like tabs that you can create and it's cheap to create it, where you don't want to have to maintain the state and all this kind of thing. But for what we're doing, we don't want to be recreating the entire content area every time, or dropping the state of one that we created earlier, I don't think. So yeah, okay, so let's do a commit. Let's have a look what we did. Let's add these assets as a separate commit. Well, okay, yeah, let's do it the other way around. And amend this commit with add support for opening text documents. Thus, and then if we add these as assets, add some document assets. Document assets. It's fine. So let's see if we can fix this tab thing, because I don't really want to have to get into the situation where I've got to do on pre-tab change, go to tab, save state, create structures for state, and then hope that the API for the text input has got a set selection which allows us to use the selection from the saved state that we gathered when we were changing tabs or something daft like that. I don't want to do that. So yeah, let's see what we can do. So widgets. So we've got a container. Right? Can we hide something in a container? That's what I want to know. It's like, I don't know. We've got new child. We've got pad trans. We can make it transparent. I don't think transparent is what we really want to do. Container background color, shadow padding. Let's look at the structure. Layout, redraw, summarize. Looking at all these things that we can do with it. Scaling. I just want to be able to hide it really. Let's search for hide. Well, you can hide scroll bars. So how does hiding a scroll bar work? Opacity. If you hide something, what happens if you click on it? Like, as in hide it with opacity. Can we, let's have a look at this resize thing. Can we give something a 0 by 0 size? Is that going to cause problems for other things? Because I can imagine if you resized a container that's got a 50-50 split into it, or you've split this container so that it's exactly 50 pixels on the left or something, and then you resize it to 0 pixels and then try and go back to the original size that it was, that it would probably lose the fact that there were 50 pixels stored before you resized it. So I kind of want hide over resize to 0 for that reason. There's this stack thing, isn't there? Hold on. A widget that displays a collection of widgets in a orientation. Oh no, wait, was there am I thinking of the wrong thing? No, this is the other kind of stack. I had a rant about this before, didn't I? The fact that a stack, when it's a row, is not a stack. A stack is things that are put on top of each other. We got, oh, there's a grid though. I mean, that's useful. Hey, what's this custom one? Let's have a look at this. A callback based custom widget. What, can we create a custom widget that's got a list of widgets and we only draw one of them? I mean, that might work. We've got a blur. What does it do by default? Curious. Let's see if there's a canvas. Let's see if there's an example for this custom. What's a data widget? Oh, that's interesting. Huh. I didn't know that existed. That might change how you're supposed to actually use this framework. What's layers? A Z direction. Oh, this might be interesting. Can we create for the tab container? Can we create a Z stack, an actual stack, and then rearrange them? That's interesting. Yeah, but does it? Is it going to try and redraw everything? Yeah, you see, you don't know. What's this overlayable? And we've got the show and we've got hide. Overlay. Hmm. Why has it got stuff to do with dialogues in layers? That's a bit odd. Okay. What else might we be able to use? Oh, we've got a switcher. Hold on, what's a switcher? Ah, maybe it's this that we need. Hold on. Map. Maybe we need this. Turns a new widget that replaces its content with the results of calling map each time source is updated. What? Okay, I'm not quite sure how we're supposed to use this. Let's see if we can find an example that uses a switcher to see what this is supposed to do. Switcher, because this might be what we want. And then we can use the switcher for the tabs container or something. So, but does it recreate the views all the time? That's the question. What's this active and what's this intro method? Does this get called multiple times? Because this is the same situation, right? We've got this. Let's just add printlns to this. And see. Because this will tell us whether this is something we can actually use. So if it only ever prints success and intro once, then it's what we want. If it doesn't, it's not. No, look, it printed it twice. No, you see, it still calls it every time. That's not what we want. Because it's going to lose the state in the same way, right? So that's no good. Yeah, so this is the closure that it calls, which is basically the same as our tab switcher thing, right? So no. We don't want to recreate the state all the time. Because we lose the state. What can we do to fix this? It does feel like these layers. What's this overlays thing? Let's just run this and see what this does. So it makes things. Where did it go when I did it? That's kind of weird. Curious. And then when you hover off it, they will disappear. Interesting. Don't think that's really what we want. Hide on unhover, yeah. What's this show method? Oh, I see. Wait, no, I don't see. This is a very strange line of code. So when you click one of the buttons, it creates an overlay and then says hide on a hover, right? It might make more sense if it's like this, but this forget thing here is weird. So it's like, fine, you create the overlay, you say I want you to hide on and hover, I want you to show it now, but this forget after the show is weird. What does... Drops this handle without dismissing the overlay. Fine. Okay, it's a bit weird. Should we be using overlays for the tabs? That's what I'm wondering. So if we have like a tab container and it's got a background, right, which is no tabs open or just an empty box, and then when you create a tab, you you display an overlay, but can you reorder the overlays if you want to change tab? I don't know. Remove child after what options have we got? On dismiss, and we've got show. Positioning? No. Modal layer. Yeah, there's not a lot of documentation for that, is there? Layer widgets. Layers. Sort of what we want, but it's not really a modal. Like, if you had layers, then into layers. What's this on? What creates layers? Overlay layer. No, it's not really that. Not really. Like, how can you reorder with a layout strategy? Widget list. Yeah, it's sort of like we want this, but we want to be able to control the... We want to be able to control the ordering. So essentially, I think sort of what we need is... let's get rid of this for now. I think what we need is something that works like this. So we've got a tab bar, we've got a tab, and we've got a tab. And then we've got a container. But it's not really... Well, it's a container, yeah. It's a container, but really it's a bunch of layers. Oopsie-daisy. And these layers, let me draw it in a different colour. And this really contains a stack of these things. And you only ever display one of them at a time. I think maybe. And that way perhaps each of these layers will maintain its state. But what I want to know is how you reorder the children in this outer container. It's got ordered. Okay, so how do you change the order? Let's have a look at this. Extend, push. I mean, we could perhaps change this so that we could reorder things. Because you can push, you can insert things. What can you take one out of it? It's got clear, it's got iter. What does this do? How do you remove a layer? Like, does the API support this? Let's have a look. So we've got a widget list. You can go into layers, and it gives you layers. And what's this synchronize with do? Is there an example of this? There is. Children synchronize with. This is in layers, but why? Mounted children. Collection of mounted children. Help making it easy to build widgets that contain multiple children widgets. Yeah, okay. Returns the mounted representation of a widget. I think this might be a question for the author of the framework. What is the best way of creating a container with a bunch of children, only one of which is ever displayed, where they all retain their state? Because it's not clear from this API. Children sync change. Got widget lists. So it's as if I want to have a vec of like widgets and then go into layers and then hide things. Maybe I can move them around myself. Okay, let's have a think about this. So we've got our tab document UI, tab switchery thingamy, right? This. And we've got our widget list, tab items. So let's say instead of content area, let's go content items. And we'll make this a dynamic widget list. Is it widget instance? I honestly don't know about this right now. So we've got a content area. And we could create a... yeah, I don't know. What if we hold on to the widget instances and just switch them out? Can we can replace one with the other, right? I suppose we can push and pull things from a slot map. Should we try doing that? Let's undo that for a moment. Oh dear. Let's give it a try. Content items, and we'll make this one of these. We'll just do it the same, right? And then what we'll do, we'll pull things out of the slot map, put it in the content area, and then we'll put it back in the content items and pull another thing out of it when we have something else. We'll try that, and then we'll see what happens. My doorbell's ringing. Please hold. Exciting. I've got a drive belt. That's a job for another day. You always need a spare drive belt when you're in the sand dunes in the desert. I tell you that. Last time I was in Morocco, I was changing a drive belt in the desert. It wasn't entirely fun. There was sand everywhere. Right, anyway, moving on. Right, so we're going to try and pull things in and out of a slot map into an active one. That's what we're going to try and do. So, how do we make this work? It's going to be different now. Yeah. So we've got this make widget, content area, set tabs, no content area. That all seems fine. We've got this make widget, but this is the callback, right? So this is saying that when the selected tab changes, you need to do something else. So the content area is a widget instance, and we're cloning the dynamic, but we don't want to drop this. We want to put it back in the slot map. I guess when we add a tab, wait a second, because we've got this tab.makeContent, right? And this is the bit that we only want to call once. So when we add a tab, we can go self dot well, what's tab items? Tab items is a widget list, so it's not really that. We need to, yeah, okay, yeah. We need to go self dot content items dot and then is it insert, because we want to use the same key. So I suppose we don't really need tab items to be like this. What if we made this, oops, one of these and then an optional one of these. Right, and then we take the thing out of the option and then we put it back in the option when we display it or not. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if this is the right way to do it. It's probably not, but let's give it a whirl. I honestly don't know. So in order to add things into a tab, that's not going to compile anymore, right? So adding a tab, tabs is the tab kind, but then, yeah, okay. So instead of doing that, we go we do this. We need a context. Of course we do. Make widget takes a context. Well, okay, let's leave that there for now, but I don't think we need it there. I think we need that here instead. Make. Oh, wait a second. We can do this. Let's see where we called this. We don't have a context here. We're trying to call add tab, but we don't have a context. We call it open document. Do we have a context? Oh no. We don't have a context here, but we do have this context here, I suppose. Where else do we call open document? Do we have a context here? Yes, because it's in app state. So I suppose we can pass it. Okay. Should we be doing that though? Okay, let's not do it there, right? Just so that we don't confuse the API too much right now. And let's go none in this thing. So we haven't created any widgets for the tab yet. So when we go make widget, we've got the tab items. Is this make widget is not a mutable self, but it doesn't need to be because this is a dynamic, I suppose. So I suppose you can get the tabs and then futz around with it. So let's try doing it here. Self tab items lock. Let's go lock mutt on here. Is it? Do we need to do that? Is there a lock mutt? What does this give you back? What was this? Oh, this is sorry. This is supposed to be tabs, not tab items, right? Yeah. Tabs. And then what do we want to do? Well, I guess key, and then we've got a tab and a widget. And then, but this isn't mutable, so self, can we knock mutt this or not? No. How do we update the dynamic thing? Is there an iter mutt? There is. But tabs guard isn't mutable. But does it need to be? Probably not. Maybe? Who knows? So here we can create a widget using the context, right? So that's how we did it before. So we'll do the same thing. But we need to do with this context thing, we need to do what? We need to lock the context. Should we do it inside each tab or outside? Let's do it outside. And then I suppose we need to go with context, which was where was it? I can't remember where everything is. Context card. Oh yeah. Right. I suppose we only need to do that once. That can go here. And then I suppose we can go tab widget dot replace with some content. Right. So then we've created a tab widget and stuck it in a slot map along with the tab. Fine. So the idea is we're only calling this once. Unless this gets called multiple times, but we'll deal with that later. That should only be called once. I don't know what happens when the window is resized, but we're going to find out. We don't care about this key right now either. So we've got a tab widget, right? So now we need to deal with this active thing. So we've got the tabs, we've got a content area, and we've got this context. But I don't think we need the context here anymore. Let's still create a callback. But I suppose we've got a closure, we've got a context guard, we don't need the context. I don't think we need the context anymore. Let's print the key out. So if there is a selected tab, then we can lock the tabs. But we don't want to do this. We want to do something else. So here we've got a tab and a widget. So then our content area is a widget instance. So we can set it. So if we go, let content is tab widget dot take maybe, and we know that we've got one, so we can unwrap it. Tab widget. Do we need to get mutt here? Is that what we need? Tab binding. Now we've got a reference to a mutable option, which so we can call take on it. So that might work. Then what? Oh, this is fun, isn't it? Let's make this a bit bigger. So we've got the content, we've got a widget instance. So now what? We can, instead of cloning this widget instance, we use it directly. Okay, you know. So then I kind of want to compile this. I know it's not going to work because we're going to take the widget instance and then at some point when we try and activate the tab again, it's going to fail. But and I don't really care about creating the empty space widget more than once. So at some point we're going to need to compare this selected tab key to the currently selected tab key and all this kind of stuff. But we need the old one. Because we need to put the widget back. We need to... Yeah. So when does this selected thing change? Let's have a look. This is when it changes, when you activate something. When does this get called? I don't know. We've got to tab buttons. Where do we even create the button? Look, we've got tab bar. Who remembers where the buttons were created? With tabs. You don't remember where the buttons were created for our tab bar? How do we create the buttons for it? Well, here it is. So we're using a select. Oh my gosh. What? Where is this? Value? Why is it talking about a label is drawn next to the checkbox and is also clickable to select the widget? Really? These selects are a bit weird. Like, how do we get the old tab key? We've got this self-selected thing. Because we need the old tab key to put the widget back in the list of tabs. But I suppose we can make a note of it in, I don't know. honestly don't know. Let's say previous. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Okay. So let's say that when you select a tab, you do a bunch of stuff in this callback, and then one of the things that you do is set previous to the tab key, right? Is self-mutable? No. So this needs to be a dynamic as well. Fine. So, fine. So I suppose what? Previous tab, lock, and then replace it, right? So at that point, before we set the content here, we can get the previous one. What, and then take it? And if there was some tab, then we can what? Let's do and then I don't know what get can we take from this content area? What is content area? It's a dynamic widget instance. Yeah. Maybe this needs to be I don't know. What do we do? What can we do here? Because do we really want to? Do we need an option in here as well? But then if we have an option in here, I mean, this content area is a dynamic. With a dynamic, you can what? If you do take on it, it needs to replace the inner value with nothing. So is there not a way to replace it in place or something? Oh no. Maybe there is. Let's move this to here. I don't know about this time. There is an option to do this. Content. So we've got the previous content, and if there was some previous content, then we put this back in the list. So I suppose we go. Oh god, this is going to be fun. Well, I don't know about this. I suppose we can return these things here. We don't have that anymore, that's fine. So I suppose here I suppose we could take and map it, but yeah. Let's go previous tab key and previous content like this. Is that what we really want to do? Put a comma here. Oh dear. Type mismatch, but found. Oh, it's supposed to be some. Right, so now this result is what? Oh, and this is not right. This needs to be like that now. Okay, so we might get the previous stuff. Previous stuff. Then oh, we have to go else what? None here, and then it'll be happy because there's an if let up here as well. I don't know. Let's go match previous stuff and just follow this through for now. So if we've got a tab key and a content, then we need to put these back in the slot map. Why is it moaning? Oh, because we need another bracket. Then again we can go there's a lot of if-lets. Some tab and widget. Then we can leave the tab alone and we can go widget dot replace the content. It's not really the content, is it? I mean, it's the previous, it's content. Let's call this content widget. But this is a widget and this is the other widget. This is the optional widget. Something like that. Can we do this? No. This widget is an optional widget. Why is this? Okay, let's just put a sum here. And for anything else, we do this. Does that compile? Wait, no, not that one. This one. Not quite. Oh, well, yeah, this needs to be TK and then an optional widget instance. Oh, not that kind of bracket. Oh, that one. There we go. How about now? Not quite. With tabs. So if we iterate over this tabs, we get these back. Do we want to map that really? A widget instance? I mean, it might be okay, but oh. We might want to map that iterator. Don't care too much about this. The value is going to be we've got this. We've got something called value here. Let's rename that to tab. We don't use the widget, so we'll put that in front of it. And yeah. So now what? Self is a reference to, oh dear. Now we're going to get into borrow checking fun. Yeah, we don't even know whether this is going to work. This is kind of pretty crazy. Self.selected. Which bit is it complaining about? Self escapes body method here. So is it because of this and this? Because we can't use self inside here. So let's pull that out. Let previous tab is self dot previous tab dot clone, and instead of doing that we go previous tab. Any other references to self in this closure? Yes. No. Let's try now. Oh, it compiles. Let's print some logs so we can see what happens. You know, it might work as it is, but you know. Selected tab key. Let's see if we can print out the previous tab key. Let's see. Is it going to crash when it starts up? Yes. Of course it is. Unwrapped on a none. Fine. So there was no widget yet. So have we not even created it yet? Why hasn't it created it yet? I thought we created it for each one. None, previous tab key, none. Tab key. Why? Why does it think that doesn't exist when we just created it? Ay, 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 ay. It'd be nice if there was a hide and show message on a layer, isn't it, on the stack? Then we could just hide and show each one. But no, we've got to faff about instead. I don't even know if this is a good idea. Why does it think this is none? Tab widget is this one. So it's getting the tab key. And this is the callback. Are we just doing some things in the wrong order here? I don't even remember why we've got this tab bar widget. Oh, I don't remember that. Yeah. Why would this be failing? Or if the tab we just added the tab widget, we called make content on it and we replaced it, right? For this key. Let's print the key out for each one of these that we're doing. Key, yeah. Key. Right, let's see what it prints out. So we've got, where's the making content? We've got no making content here. That's what the problem is. So the tabs guard has got, oh, I see. So there's no, we've never made the content. Ah, okay. Yeah, I don't think we can do this here. I think we do need to do this in the add tabs bit. I think that's what the problem is. Because we added a tab, but we've never called make content for the tab that we just added. Let's think about this. Because we've got the add tab and we could add context to the add tab API. It changes a few things. I don't really want to do it. I could do it, but can we do it a different way? Can we create another callback that looks at the same thing that add tabs does. So add tab adds stuff to the tab items, right? So if we did a callback on the tab items that use the context that we've got in the make widget method, then we could make the content in it. I don't know, let's try it. Let make content callback what? Self dot, I don't know, tab items dot for each, and then at this point you get stuff, and then in here we get, you know, we get move foo, and we get a widget list. Is it tabs or tab items that we're doing? Tabs, really, isn't it? Tabs. Tabs. We want this, really, slot maps. So then, you know, now we've got our slot map, and we can call it a mut on it and move this into here, maybe? Which is called foo. Let's say tabs. Make this mutable. And then go what? Make content callback dot persist. Like we did with this other one. But it doesn't really need to make okay, so it needs to check to see whether this is actually made yet, and if it's not, then make the content. So I suppose if tab widget dot is none, then do that. Can't borrow tabs as mutable because this isn't a mutable for each. And then we've got a dynamic thing here. Oh, do we need to do tabs is dynamic? Is there a for each mut? No. How do we get a mutable one of these? Maybe we don't need to it a mut on it. Oh, you do. What, do we need another dynamic in this? I mean, it seems a little bit silly. We could do it, but I don't really like it. But the tabs is a dynamic. I thought we could do stuff with this. Huh. Yes. What to do? What else can we do here? I don't want to lock it. I just want to go for each on it. Every time it changes, do stuff. It just seems a bit silly. I want to be able to mutate the things in it every time they're changed, but I guess that doesn't make sense with current contents. It'll just go around in an infinite loop if you mutated it. So I suppose this needs to be a dynamic as well. At which point we could go tab widget dot lock. And let's call this one guard. And make it mutable. You know, that bit works. That's going to break other stuff. New tabs, slot map, option, dynamic. Sure, you know, I'll work through the list. Now we've got something else here, which is this. We've got to replace this, but we can't replace that. We've got to lock it first, and then what? Lock and replace. And now we've got to fix this. Don't really like this, but you know. And then we've got, oh dear, no. Right, and then this can't use self, but context is, oh no, dearie me. Context is an arc, so we have to clone this one, I suppose. Fix the tab indentation because it's all gone wonky. Can't clone. Why not? Is it star context not clone? This one accessed the context, didn't it? Oh wait, I see. Okay, so we need to futz about with this here. Yeah. This bit needs to be in here. Let's have a look. Yeah. Like that. Yeah, maybe. We've got a thing. That didn't work. That definitely didn't work. Okay, it's a little bit confused. It's extremely confused. Let's see what, let's just... It doesn't retain the state anyway. Previous tab key none. Every single time you change tab. So it's recreating the context every time. So we've got a problem with this previous tab key. How did I screw that up? Why is this always none? Previous tab replaced with a tab key. Look, we've got this. Let me just see if foo gets printed anywhere. Foo does indeed get printed. Oh. It's because I'm stupid. Let result is this, and then go result, and then put this in the right place. Yeah, that'd do it. That would do it. So now we can switch tabs. Oh, amazing. But it's still calling making content every time. But does it actually make content? I don't know. Why is it calling making content every time? Is this... We've got a tab widget and we lock it. We've got a dynamic guard of an option. So this is none. It's working on the option of the widget instance. But why is this always none? Why? Because we're supposed to be adding a tab. Let's just see. Oh dear. What are we in here? This is tab bar. Yeah, I'm probably misunderstanding how everything works here. Yeah. So we've got tab bar, make widget. It only gets called once. We click it again, and it only does it once. So it definitely only does that once, which is good. But why is this not right? Oh. I know why. It's because, well, I think it is. It's because when the tabs is updated, it calls this again, and we update the tab here. Hold on a second. This is very confusing. So let's just run that again. And then look at the log. So it goes make widget. And then it runs this bit. And then it goes making content, which means it's running this bit. And then you get a tab key. And then why does it print out this twice? It's because it's still making the content every single time. Because why? Why? Is it because one thing's updating the other thing and that's causing the one thing again? Ah. Okay. So that's the home tab. And then it goes open document. And this is where it creates the home tab, right? And then it goes open document and it makes the content. But then it runs this again. Is it because the tabs list got updated? Because we're basically going tabs.lock and then we're updating stuff in the tabs, right? And then that's causing the other thing to get done. Oh gosh. Yeah. And they say that reactive stuff is easier to reason about. Is it? Is it really? Is this madness? I think it's madness. I don't think it's easy to reason about. One thing updates one thing, which updates another thing. But we're making the content. So why? Because we're taking the content from it, and then it's calling tabs again, and then it's making the content again. So perhaps we need a tri-state thing here. Let's go enum tab state, and let's say uninitialized. And let's say active and hidden. And if it's hidden, there's going to be a widget instance. Okay, so we're going to go dynamic tab state. Thus. So then we can do that, and then I guess we go tab state uninitialized, right? And then we can go I don't know, match, well, let's say tab state here. Match tab state. No. Tab state, if it's uninitialized, then we're going to say tab state. Is it like this? Is tab state hidden with some content. We don't have the content yet. So let's make the content. And do something like that. But it's supposed to be tab state guard. And then what's the problem here? Oh, this. And in the case of the other ones, we don't want to do anything. Yeah, it's fine. Something like that. Right, yeah, maybe. Maybe that might work. So instead of taking it here, we need to say it's going to be hidden or something. Well, we sort of know about this. I suppose here we can add the clause here, tab widget, content widget. No. Oh dear. What do we do here? Well, we're trying to display the tab, right, and switch the contents out. But we can only do that. We can only get the content if it's not active. Let's just go match on the tab widget. I'm going to use match for now. Oh, am I doing the wrong thing here? What's the problem? So if we've got a content widget, then we can do all of this. Let's just move this into here for now. And say none on this and none on this. Maybe that works. Right. So yeah, and if we've got previous stuff, then we need to put it back into this thing. So this isn't optional widget. This is tab state. So we can say star tab state is can we do this? Tab state hidden and then widget. Right, but don't we need to make one of these active or something? Don't we need to lock this and change the current one to active or something? My brain hurts. My brain hurts. Yeah, because we had this take thing somewhere, didn't we? And let's say somewhere here, star foo equals tab state active. Because this is dumb. I don't know. What is this? This is not really... I don't know. Yeah, so guard, and then we do this, and then we change the thing that's matched by the guard with this, and then this. No, this is all wrong. What's this content widget? Is a reference to a widget instance, which we don't really want. We want to actually do this, but then we can't. We've got to star it, and then I don't know. Then what? Cannot move out of this, and we've got this problem here now. We've got the dynamic guard of a tab state. Dear. And it's complaining it wants a dynamic guard of this, but no. Tab state dot what? Get. Clone is not even with tab state. Do I want to clone it? Transition to. Try, compare, swap. Is there a... Maybe it's this. Try, compare, swap. Try, compare, swap, error, tab, state, result. What? No. I want to swap the value out, it's true. What do we do here? What does try replace do? Do we map it? Is there a map? You get a mutable tab state. Yeah, okay, let's try that. Tab state. Sure. Honestly, I don't know. We've got this tab state here, and we want to go. Why? What is a mutable? Oh dear. Do we want to go star tab state? Do we want to take a reference to it? Maybe. And do that? Perhaps? Mismatch types. And now I don't get the content, which is still a reference. And then what can we do here? I just want the thing out of it. How do I get the? I want this to put it in here. Don't know the API. Tra la 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 la. Don't know the API. What am I supposed to do? Definitely don't want to do that. This isn't going too well, is it? Probably spent about an hour or so trying to work out how to fix this state issue now. I mean, I've got a tri-state thing. Should I be having an optional inside my tri-state thing? Not really. What am I supposed to do? I want this. Okay, let's try this a different way. Let's just go content widget like this. I don't think this is going to help. I mean, That's not going to help at all. Because this is still going to be a reference. No, that doesn't help. Let's undo that. What can we do? How do we get to mutate this instead of having a stupid mutable thing? It's a dynamic, and what do we want to do? I don't want a reference to it, I want the actual thing. So the only thing I can call is get on it. But this is a... When you call lock on this, you get a dynamic guard. I don't think we want this map mutt thing because that doesn't really work. Now we had this, but this is still a reference to a widget instance when you do this. And if you do that, you get a widget instance, but you can't take this out of the dynamic guard. Is this... I want like an into inner or something. It's definitely not lock. It's definitely not map mutt. And if you call get on it, you get a tab state, which is fine. But the tab state needs to be cloned to do that, which is not what you want. It's like I need to run a closure on it, which has a mutable one. With for each. With clone. You can call take on it, but that means tab state default. I mean, maybe that's okay. Let's just say it's uninitialized and then replace it with that. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it. We'll see what happens. So we take it, and then the one that's in this dynamic is now uninitialized, which is fine. And then if it's active, then this shouldn't even be called anyway. Let's say unreachable here. Should it be yeah, it should probably be like this for all of these. Let's see. tab state value. And set it to active. What? Partial EQ is not set. Why? Why do I need partial EQ on here? Observers, I suppose it does need that. Widget instance, does that have partial EQ? I doubt it. Option, no, this is a tab state now. Tab state is private, it's true. I'm going to make it public. I'm going to put a fix me make private, because I think the iterator needs to be mapped. And we're going to see what happens. And it fails completely. Panicked. Unreachable. Okay, let's put that back on. Tab state. I don't know, what was the tab state in this case? I don't know, there's only 3 states. Let's go none. It should only be those 2, I think, right? It might not be, because we might not have created the content yet. Yeah. So, selecting text. Selecting text. Oh, and it still loses a state after all that. Oh my gosh. What a waste of time that was. But, you know, at least we could only create a widget once. Which I suppose is better than not doing that. Because, look. What a waste of time. Okay. So, this is what happened. So, we've got a log on the left. And we've got the UI on the right. So, it goes... making the content for the home tab, and then there's another making content for the text file 1, and there's another making content for the second text file, right? And we've got 3 tab keys, and it only added it all once, and we can switch between the tabs. Let's close all, and it's fine, home, fine, open, fine. You know, so it works. Wait, but what happened to the... Wait a second. Close all. Home. Does it call making content? Yeah, it does. So, yeah, that works fine. And then it makes it again, which is correct. But it still loses the state. Is it better than it was? I think it might be. Is it understandable? No, not really. Come back to that code in a year's time, you won't understand it. Hell no. No. That needs to be refactored somewhat. Let's put that back. And then let's remind ourselves of why we added this here. We've got this. We've got a foo here. We had a foo before. We don't need this foo. I suppose this shouldn't be called foo. Let's fix that. got foo. We don't. What is this foo? I suppose this is what? What is this? Home. I suppose it's a home tab. Oops. Well, this isn't really a home tab. This is a... Oh, I don't know. Home tab result, maybe? I suppose they're both that, really. Do we care about this one? No. Yeah. This is not really a widget anymore, is it? This is state. We don't really want this state anywhere though. This with tabs thing is returning a tab state, but it doesn't need to do that. I think we have to map it here. And let's go key and met, because I don't remember what it is. We've got a tab key, that's right, we want the tab key. So if we go tab and state, and then don't use the state but return the key and the tab instead, with another bracket. That way dot into yeah, I knew you were going to say that. You get the iter, you map into it, and then maybe we call iter on that. No method called iter found on this. So how do we get that iterator? Do we do collect on that? No. Do we do what, into iter? No. Expected iter with a tab key found map. Yeah. What can we do on here that gives us an iterator? I want another iterator. How'd you do it? Is this one of these things where you want this? No. Is it one of these things where it does this? Into iter. Is this right? And then we've got T. No. What's the type supposed to be? Because the problem is that this iter here is a slot map basic iter, which isn't really what we want. I mean, I can make it return this, but I don't think that's really what my method signature should be. Because the state is, it should be private, you see, this is the thing, it's internal to this. But I need something that takes an iterator, but it's not really something that takes an iterator. It's the iterator that you get from map. Let's call... You can call into iter on this, and then you get what? See, I don't really care that it's mapped. And then what does collect do? Collect gives you another... Okay. Cannot be built from this. Because we don't really want to collect these things. I just want to return another iterator. What's the method that I'm not seeing? There's probably something that I'm missing. I could have sworn it was like it's supposed to be an into iter. I thought this is supposed to be a function that takes any iterator that gives you these things as opposed to a specific one. Could have sworn that was right like this. Yeah. Can we call .into on this? No. What can we do here? This iterator is created by calling into it, right? Should we go into it like this? But then we're doing the map, and then what? No, I don't know how to create another iterator that I can. I don't know what the signature of this is supposed to be. I don't know what the signature of this is supposed to be. This is okay, fine. Look, we're just going to use this here because I honestly don't care at this point. I'm going to say fix me, make this API better for now, because this is stupid. But it doesn't. No, that's not right. Am I using the wrong method here? And then this gives us a map, right? What can you call a map? Can you call iter on the map? It doesn't really seem right. Don't know. Iterators into iterators, impl into iterators, completely lost with the API right now. So the difference between iterator, into iter, and into iterator is what is confusing my poor little brain right now. Maybe I should make a list of what is what. Like, what is an iterator and what is an into iterator? Right? There's a into iter. You've got this thing in the collections API. Conversion from an iterator. From iter. I don't know. I mean, what can you do? Can you go meh? No, see, there's no from foo. Expected iterator of whatever, but it found a map of an iterator of something. Can I give it foo like this? What does into iter take? It takes a self. And it gives you an what? And this iter is the slot map one, which is the one I want to actually return, but I'm never going to be able to do that because I don't know. I don't know. This one gives you a map. I don't want a map. How do you go from one type of iterator, map it, and then go back to the same type of iterator? That's what I don't understand. I don't know what I really want to return here. I mean, is this really... What do I want? Do I just want a vector of tab keys like this, perhaps, instead? Maybe I should just do that. Maybe I'm thinking that I want an iterator and I don't really want an iterator at this point. Maybe I should be doing that, because then I don't know, maybe that's... Oh no. Why can't it build it? Oh no. I mean, is this going to be a reference here? TK is a reference. Cannot be built. Yeah, probably. Is that right? Let's get rid of this, because that's what we're really trying to do. Find map not found in vec. Oh. I mean, we can do that, I suppose, but it's not really what I wanted to do. Can we call iteron? No. I don't know. I don't know what the best way of doing that is. Oh, now we... Oh, dear. Yeah, you see, we... Tab.clone. We're cloning the reference, but the reference only exists inside the with tabs thing. You see, this isn't what we want. We don't want that. No, I don't want that. Can we clone the tab here? Tab kind? We might be able to. Heck of whatever. Cannot be built from this. You see, Do we do it like this? I forget how you're supposed to do it. As here we've got a mutable thing, but we don't really want to do this on it. Oh, it's just a mess, isn't it? Do we have to create our own iterator? There's got to be a better way of doing this, but I don't know what it is. How do you create an iterator from another iterator? Okay, Rust create iterator from iterator. Yeah. No. I don't know. Into iterator. Maybe I should be using into iterator instead of into iter. Let's not collect it because that's never going to work in 1,000 years. So maybe we're supposed to be using this. Type is the item. And then what's the item supposed to be? And what are you supposed to use done here? What? No. I don't know how you create these things. Can you just call map on this? No. No, see, I don't want to clone the tab either, so let's get rid of that. So when you call map, you get a map, right? But then you need to do something with the maps iterator. And you can't do this because it doesn't let you. This gives you a map of stuff. And is it an iter or an iterator? It's so confusing. I need to take some time out probably to learn all the differences between all these different things and then fix this properly. So rather than continue with this mess right now, we're just going to revert all this rubbish. Not do any mapping like this and put a oh dear, I don't know. What was this again in here? Tab state. Fix me make tab. Remove tab state from this API. Oh, what is this? What is this actually? What on earth was this? But was it this? Found struct T. Oh, I've got the dynamic in the wrong place. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. Yeah, and then of course this is wrong. And the problem that we've got is that we shouldn't have this state here, so we're just going to put it back temporarily and leave that fix me there because whatever. Let's see if we can get rid of some of these warnings. Context is never used. That's not even my stuff. Oh, that's, yeah, that's fine. Tab bar. We're going to use it at some point, but not right now. We'll fix that when we do it. Should have done the commit earlier. Right, we've got a result here. Let's just say OK for now. And we've got an open button here, and we're going to go OK on this as well. And then maybe at some point we'll add some other error handling on this. Like, for instance, when the file can't be opened. All right, fine. So what have we got? We've got that. We've got this bit. I'm fixing warnings. Clean up of that. Yeah. We've got to fix me in for that. It's fine. We can do it. Okay, so this is mostly all about only create the tab content widget once and swap the widget in out when active tab changes. That's mostly what we did, but it didn't fix anything. Sure, it made it more efficient that we only create it once, right? But it still didn't fix the fact that the state is lost when you switch tabs. So I think what we're going to do is call it there on this stream for now, because we'll be going 3.5 hours. And I'm going to ask some questions in the Cushy Discord server. And then once I've got some answers, we'll continue. Yeah. I might continue with some of the other things that need to be done on this as well. But the state is one of the main problems I've had with every single framework, GUI framework that I've been trying to use. And yet again, we're running into this problem. And I'm getting very tired of it. Really, really tired of it. Okay, so just remember, folks, it's only software. How hard can it be? We'll find out on the next one. See ya.